Hey guys, it's Dustin with Top Deck, and today I'm going to be bringing you a Zombie World control deck. Now, this one's pretty fun. I like the fact that it's built to go first, and it can go second, so it can put up a number of disruptions and negates going first, and then it can also break through some boards going second. Now, what's nice about this deck is Zombie World in itself can be enough to shut down a deck. Be able to change everything to zombies is a disruption in itself. Not to mention, you add Doom King into the picture, and if you set up any other negates or disruptions or hand traps, whatever it may be, can be enough to just shut down your opponent going first. Now, also being able to make everything zombies going second is also very strong too. So I tried to make this deck as competitive as possible going into the new Master Rule, just because of how many new decks are emerging, so you kind of need to be prepared for a lot of different scenarios. So the deck core is almost 100% zombies as far as the main deck goes, but there are a few extenders I put in here that aren't, so you need to keep in fact that you still need to keep it competitive with this deck, and I'll be showing some alternative budget options because some of the cards aren't cheap, so there are some alternative ways you can go as well, which I will present throughout the deck profile. So without further ado guys, let's get into this profile. Alright, so starting with the zombie lineup for our starters, we're going to be using 3 Solitaire. So you can tribute this guy and put out any zombie with 0 defense, which are normally going into unit zombie, but he's one of your starters, a normal summon. You just gotta be careful if this thing gets impermed, it can really shut you down. So you've gotta keep in mind for that. But I think playing 3 is definitely the correct number. Now for the target is Unizombie, is who we'll be bringing out, who is our best normal summon. This guy is a tuner, for one. He lets you discard any card from your hand, and then he increases a level by 1, which is relevant. It helps you when you're going into your synchro plays, your Exceed plays, anything like that. And then getting anything discarded out of your hand is just strong because 70 to 80% of your deck works in the graveyard, so which is really nice. And then you also get to send any zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then you also get to increase a level for that as well. So he's really strong. Definitely play him at 3. Our next one, I opt to play Jacobulin at 3. Now, I know there's a lot of people that play him at 1, at 2, or maybe not at all. Here's my theory in playing 3 of them. He's both an extender and a disruption. So as an extender, he discards any zombie monster to summon, which is strong. It gets a body on the field and it can get you an effect into the graveyard. If you have any of your, a Mizuki or a Gozuki or any of your zombies that trigger off in the graveyard. So, or Doom King himself. I mean, they're, like I said, 80% of your deck works in the graveyard and they're mostly zombies, so I think playing him at 3 is correct. Because like I said, he's an extender, and then also his disruption effect where he can banish himself to target a monster in the graveyard and special summon it onto your field, and then he comes back the next turn is really cool. So whether you use him to link climb or just to get a discard off in your hand, or you're getting him out to use his effect, I mean, he's got so much versatility in the deck. I don't understand why people aren't playing him at 3, especially in a full zombie variant. So I really think he is strong at 3. I mean, people argue the fact, oh, what if you draw 2 in your hand? Well, then you discard 1 and summon 1. It's not the worst thing, and that's not going to happen all that much, really. So when it does, I mean, you've got fodder for him to get him out on the field and use him to link climb. I mean, he's a great card. So in a control variant, I would definitely play him at 3. Doom King, still playing it 2. Even though we do play a lot of cards to discard out of the hand, I still don't think 3 is the correct way to go. I think 2 is a good number, because we have so many ways of getting this thing out or into the graveyard, so his presence is always going to be on the field, so it's not hard for this deck to pump this card out. So he's great. He's walking two interruptions. He can banish and then he can negate. Fantastic card. Then he comes back, every turn, when there's just a field card on the when there's a field card on the field. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be Zombie World. You know, it can be any field spell. So that's nice. And we are playing 2 Banshees. I haven't increased this number. I think 2 is correct. 1's definitely not enough, and 3 is way too many. So we've got so many ways to get into Zombie World. So she's nice because she's a quick effect, so you can banish her, you know, to put it on the field real quick. Or even if she is on the field, she can protect Zombie World too. So that's kind of a nice effect too to keep in mind. I have to play 2 Glow Up Bloom. You know, since we're playing mostly zombies, you know, given you want to try to do this guy last, you know what I mean, so you don't just lock yourself down into only playing zombies, even though a lot of them are. You know, you want to make sure if you're going to be using this card, you use his effect towards the end of your turn. So you don't want to lock yourself down too much out of your place, because while the main deck is, you know, mostly zombies, the extra deck is not so much. Like I said, I tried to make this deck as competitive as possible, so I integrated as much in the main deck with zombies as I could, but I think 2 Gloom is perfect. For the hand traps, I'm only playing 2 Ash. I don't want to clog down with hand traps. She's nice, she's real, she hits a lot of things, and she can trigger Doom King, is why I play her. I'm not a huge fan on hand traps, honestly, but I chose to play 2 of her. She's a zombie, you know, and she can trigger off Doom King, and she hits a lot of cards, so I think she's going to be especially good in the new format coming out, so play two of her. Now as far as extenders, I play 2 Bazooki. I did have this at 3. I just think in the control variant, I think 2's enough. You know, he's nice because he can reborn anything out of your graveyard that's a zombie, and with Zombie World on the field, obviously everything on the field and graveyard is zombies, so he's really nice for an extender. So in the combo variant, I play 3 of him, but I think in the control variant, I think 2's enough. So 2 Mizuki. Now I took out one of them, honestly, to experiment around with Gozuki. The reason I put him in here as a 1-up, because I can use him as a normal summon, say if I don't open up with a Unizombie or a Solitaire, and I happen to have this in my hand, I can use him at least to dump something that I need to out of the deck. And then he's got an extender play too in the graveyard where he can banish another zombie to special summon the zombie out of your hand. So I keep him in there as a 1-up just to kind of balance out my normal summons, just in case I don't see something. And if I happen to pull him in my hand with a Unizombie or something, then I'll try to get him discarded to get his extender effect out. So I'm playing around with one of these in the deck. Alright, now guys, that's the zombie lineup. I'm going to get into the extender package here. So I have to play the danger package. So I'm just playing 1 Nessie, 1 Jackalope, alright, and then I'm also playing 1 Snake and 1 Moth. So I play the 4, you know, all 3 of these are the 1-ups, and then you have Moth. I mean, if you don't want to play any, if you want to dump one of them, I would dump Moth, because that honestly helps your opponent too. I know discarding is helpful for us, but so is your opponent too, so keep in mind for that. But I play 1 of each of them. They just help get bodies on boards or draw through the deck. You know, they're really nice extenders in the deck. It's, you know, it's no different than playing, you know, another draw engine in your deck, except this one can put bodies on field, which I think is more, it's better for this deck because it can discard from your hand, put bodies on field, and draw from the deck. So there's no better engine to throw in here than this one. So I would play 1 of each of those guys. Alright, and for the last monster guy, I play the 1 Destruction Sword. Now here, I'm gonna keep it real with you on this. I hate this card. I think this card is unhealthy for the game. However, so many other people are going to be playing this card, as many disruptions as we can put back on our opponent, the better. Now, like I said, people are going to be spamming this thing left and right. You know, if you don't want to play this thing, I don't blame you. I'm just trying to offer you the if you want to play this deck the most competitively way possible, you should probably play this, because this can just shut down a deck too. Now, if you don't want to play this, that's fine. You know, just add another extender into the deck. I mean, there's other cards that you can play. Throw another Mizuki in there, or, you know, there's plenty of other cards that you can add in there. When we start going through the spells, I mean, you can add something there. So if you don't want to play this card, I totally understand. I don't like it. I just wanted to give you the option of, you know, this deck can put this out really quick. So it's really easy for the deck. So if you want to play it and have it as competitive as possible, you probably want to play this card. If you don't, like I said, I totally understand. I hate that card, honestly. And it's probably gonna get banned soon anyway, so we can just use it for now. Why we can, you know, because I don't think that card's gonna last long. So that's it for the monster lineup, guys. Let's get into the spells. So we'll obviously start with 3 Zombie World. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. You know, we play it at 3 because we want to see it. You know, the less we don't have to, you know, dump our Banshee, we can dump something else like another extender, the better. So we want to see this. Now I play 2 Super Poly. Now, like I was saying before, if you don't want to play that Destruction Sword, play a 3rd Super Poly. I did have 3 Super Polys in here at first, but I was I'm trying to spread out what this deck can do. So I opted to play this at 2 now, you know, because I don't always want to open this up going first. If I'm going second, I'll slide in the 3rd one, you know, because this is how you break through boards. I mean, this card is so relevant in the format now, in my opinion, because this card can just by itself break through, you know, almost unbreakable boards. So I would definitely, if you can play this at 3, go right ahead, because it's definitely worth it. Another 2 of is Called by the Grave. This is another one you can bump up to 3, you know, if you don't want to play the Destruction Sword. I just personally didn't want to. This card serves to protect your normal summon, you know, from hand traps or a disruption on your opponent's turn. This card's really good in this deck. You know, so you can try bumping this up to 2. I mean, me personally, I was playing Instant Fusion back before it got hit at 3 because I prefer that route more because I get a body on board as well. So I converted back to this, and I'm playing it at a 2 up, honestly. So, you know, but like I said, if you don't want to play Super Poly at 3, but you don't want to play the Destruction Sword, play that one at 3 because that's, you know, that'll protect your normal summons. Now to some of the 1-outs, guys. Foolish Burial. I mean, it's a given. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard, so you gotta play that. And then for the last of the spells, guys, for the 1-outs, 1 for 1. This card can put out your level 1. You send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 1 monster from your hand or deck. Great. I mean, this card discards and it puts a level 1 out. It can get your Bloom out, whatever it is. Or if you're introducing other extenders that are level 1s, then, you know, it can bring out something else as well. So I think this is definitely a good card to keep in your deck. So that's it for the spell lineup. Let's get into the traps. Now, we are playing the Rivalry Lock. I think it's a strong play. I mean, yeah, your opponent can get through it, you know, given the fact that they draw the necessary cards to get rid of your back row. But, I mean, this is just one of the, you know, annoying things that this deck can put up. So, I would definitely play this at 3. Now, for the last ones, guys, I do play 3 Solemn Judgments. Now, the reason I play 3 of these is to stop cards, you know, going first that just blow out your entire board. You know, you've got a lot of evenly matched out there, Lightning Storm, you know, or just anything. I mean, this card hits anything, so I like to play this at 3. You know, because there's nothing worse than getting your board wiped, you know, and a simple card like this can stop it. So, I mean, I have other cards in the extra deck built to, you know, stop cards like that, but this is just an extra added bonus to have in the deck to try to stop cards like that. So I want to prevent my opponent from pulling stuff like that. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get on to that extra deck. So we're going to start with the level 1 Lynx, playing one Anima. I replaced him with Link Karibo. I just think going second, you know, if your opponent's not playing around this card, then, you know, it can take up an extra deck monster, which is nice. So I like him. He's definitely a good one up in the deck. Level 2s, Vampire Sucker. I only play her at 1. I did have her at 2, but I dropped it down a little bit just to give it a little more versatility of what I could go into. But she's really nice to get draws out, and, you know, I mean, you can sacrifice, you know, a zombie monster on their field and yours to tribute out a zombie monster, which does come up sometimes. So don't sleep on that effect. Or she can special summon a monster out from your opponent's graveyard if it's a zombie. So this is nice, but getting the drawing effect is more key, honestly. And then for going second, I do play one Savior. You know, he's nice. I mean, I like him as a one of going second, you know. So when you get to pretty much just send any card to the graveyard, which is really nice, and then, or I'm sorry, I don't think it's any card. I think it's just one zombie card. Yeah, which is nice. And then he's just a nice one-of, honestly. He's a nice one-of. I don't go into him a whole lot, I'll be honest with you. So continuing on, Christian, definitely a must-have. You know, he's really nice. He gets some of your plays going. You know, I'm definitely trying to get into this card, you know, to get out my Bloom, to make sure that my Doom King's going to be live, or I'm just using him to link climb. So he's definitely a nice card. And then we do play the one Union Carrier for the Destruction Sword, or just to get any card out of my deck and pretty much set into the graveyard one side. You know what I mean? Get rid of whatever I connected it to. So definitely play one of him. Breaking Boards, Anaconda. This card is disgusting. You know, he makes your Super Poly live pretty much at all times. And, you know, he's how you break your boards if you need to go into him. So definitely play one Anaconda. I play one IP Masquerena. You know, just being able to get that plays on your opponent's turn is huge. She's a nice level 2, honestly. You know, to create some additional disruption. And then I do play the one Unicorn. You know, going off IP to be able to spin a card is nice. You know, or if you need to get rid of back row, anything. This is nice to have in there. You know, you need some versatility to spin a card if need be. Now for the level 4s, I play Abramax. I think he's a good control card. You can play Boral Sword if you want to in this one. But this deck, in my opinion, I'm trying to put more problematic cards that are annoying to deal with in this deck. You know, and he's definitely one of them, especially if you go from IP Masquerena into him, then he's really hard to get rid of. You know, I understand Boral Sword can OTK, you know, and by all means, if you want to play that one, I play that one in my combo version, but this one I like to keep, I like Abramax in this one, so he's nice. And then for the last level 4, I play Appaloosa. Now, I know this card's expensive, but this deck can put it out pretty easily, so putting her out is definitely nice going first. But however, if you cannot, if this card isn't in the budget, you can play her. She's a zombie too. Her effect is really nice. The only reason I didn't play her is because I have Appaloosa. I just think if I'm gonna go into a Link 4, I want the negates from her, like, just how they are. I can negate pretty much anything per chain. Hers is, you know, if it comes from the graveyard, then she can sink it down to 0, which is nice. I mean, she does have a really nice effect, and she's got 2,900 attack. So this is the budget option. If you don't have Appaloosa, I would definitely play the Mayakashi. So definitely play her if you don't have Appaloosa. If you have Appaloosa, I recommend playing her. But if you want to, again, if you want to keep it more zombie variant, then, you know, play the Mayakashi. So she's still some good disruptions for the deck. Now that's done for the links, guys. Just the 2 fusions we play are the 2 super poly targets. I just play one of each for each scenario. You know, this guy's always live usually, and honestly, so is this one. People play a lot of darks. So then if I go into Anaconda, this one's always live. So I like both of their effects. Don't sleep on his effect. His is pretty cool, being able to make that token and then slam it into their monster. So that's nice. So I play one of each of the super poly targets. Now, the only X seed I play, guys, is I play Abyss Dweller. Going into level 4s is pretty easy with this deck, honestly. And this card can just shut off a lot of decks, honestly. So if you have Zombie World in the field and then you throw in Abyss Dweller, they can't play with the graveyard. You know, and then maybe you have some negates like Doom King on board. I mean, that's hard for them to deal with, honest to God. So I think he's, for as simple and as easy it is to go into a level 4, I like keeping him in the deck. Now, on to the last two. I play Shooting Riser Dragon. He's nice. He lets you discard to drop levels, and I used him to go into Boreal Savage. He's nice. Easy to go into, honestly. Now, if you cannot afford this card, budget is Dawn Dragster. I keep him in here, honestly, to stop stuff like Evenly Matched in Lightning Storm or any blowout cards like that for a negate, you know, for like an Omni negate. But this one does a spell or trap, and if you change its level, keep in mind, if you change its level, it can get its negate back pretty much. So, aka this card right here can change levels, and if he's on the field, he changes his level again, then there you go, you have your negate back. But just going into this card will give you a spell or trap negate, which is nice. So if this one isn't in the budget, then just you know, play Dawn Dragster, you know. But if he is, I would definitely play him. He's really nice. I love that card, you know. So as many disruptions as you can put up as possible is key in this deck, and that Omni negate really helps. So but guys, that's the deck there. And also I'd like to point out too, if you're going against back row decks, this card right here, side this card in at 3. This is a blowout card. You have Doom King, it comes back every turn. Sacking him for this card is disgusting. So use this in Twin Twisters. I don't even really recommend Lightning Storm, honestly, because this is more of a blowout in my opinion. And then Twin Twisters let you discard so you can get an effect there and take out 2. And like if you draw into Lightning Storm at the wrong time where you have shit on the field, it's just not good. So I would play this in Twin Twisters against back row decks. So just as a little, you know, tip there in my opinion. So, you know, let me know what you guys think of the deck here. Like I said, I tried to make it as much zombies as possible. I know that extra deck isn't, you know, there's only like 2 zombies in there, but I tried to make this one as competitive as possible. You know, just to create all kinds of disruptions and just kind of control the board. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.